All right, so a bit of attention. The indie that I promised you today is here. So a round of applause for Maris Bunkovskis, who will talk about Rising Slimes or the indie game dev experience.
Let's see how this goes. Okay, so hi, my name is Maris, and as you can see, I'm doing a speech right now. So basically, what's this session is going to be all about? This is not going to be like a numbers thing. This is going to be more of a experience sharing from the past and like issues and good things about the release cycle of one smaller sized indie game on Steam and consoles, basically. So if you're into mobile, it's probably not that relevant for you. If you are into PC, it might be more relevant. Also, a note: my experiences might be outdated because like the environment changes pretty fast. The game was released in May, so some things might be different now or like in a year when you're going to be releasing your own game. So. What was the game? The game was Rise of the Slime, a deck-building rogue-lite cutesy game about card battles and like interacting with environment and, well, doing weeb stuff. So basically, it's made in a Construct 2. I wanted to mention this because many people are like reluctant to go random engine routes. It doesn't really matter. Just pick one that you're most comfortable with and go with it. Like, do take note of what your like porting capabilities will be, or like what do you need to take in account when releasing the game. Because with custom engines, you will have many problems with these kinds of engines where you can just prototype quickly. Pick any, go, nobody will care. No player will care where you made your game. Console builds were made by a porting studio called Ratalaika Games. It went very smoothly. They are porting like Construct games and like other like obscure-ish web engines and other stuff like that. Like if you're interested in getting your game to consoles and you're using more obscure engine, I can introduce you to them and go with it. Like go with the porting partner. Like it will help you, especially if they don't take like a lot of money up front. Like that's the smart way. Primarily targeted PC and Switch. Ended up going with all current and next gen consoles and PC. Audio was made in collab with a friend, and it was published by Playstack. You can catch Juha somewhere around here if you want to pitch them a game. Haha, wink wink. So pre-development and development stage. More or less, it took about 1 year to get from zero to a release in early access. The reason why I managed to release it within that one game was one, I could spend like full attention on the game and like just focus on it because I had the funding from publisher. Plus, I was not against cutting features. Like feature like creep will kill your game and can kill your studio like very quickly. And you can make your game like perpetually. Like don't do that. Do have clear milestones in your mind, like set times and stuff like that. You will overshoot them. You will go wrong, but do have them. Like it will help you. At least if you want to go commercially. If you want to just mess around, then just mess around. And constantly show your game to someone, like to get the feedback. Even if it's like your, I don't know, mother or like little sister, like it helps because if you sit just in your own little bubble, you won't see like the greater picture how your game plays or feels. So further, like early access stage, the launch went smoothly but shitty because there are two things I did not do right, which I will be talking a little bit later on about. When releasing game to early access, do take in account that you need to keep your momentum going. And if you're a small team, it will be really hard to work on the content and like game mechanics at the same time. So like if you have the option, do prep up some content that you can do like content drops like after early access release without working on them. And you can focus on like finishing your game while doing content drops that you prepared like beforehand. Evaluate like player interest because it is really important to see like if anybody is biting. Like if there is no interest from people, like you're not getting any wish lists, no comments are happening in your Steam page, no sales are going. It's an indication that you should like cut down your game and like release it sooner. For context, we set up like early access page about 2 weeks before launch. Bad idea. You can't gather enough player interest. And over those 2 weeks, like it gathered around like 500 wish lists. So it didn't have that much visibility while going out. But it did generate a decent amount of sales despite having a low wish list. So like it could have done better during like early access launch. Plan for post early access launch time because like you don't want to be that game that came out in early access and then the studio like kind of died and started to work on the next early access game and the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one, and players will hate you at some point. So as I said, the game only had like around 500 wish lists when it came out. It was a big goof and a big win at the same time because step one, I didn't do too much QA. I didn't check how people were interacting with my game, and you do need to have that. The best thing you can have is have somebody play your game and record how they play it. Like, don't look over the shoulder, like that don't work. Like, they will just want to get rid of you, like in conference and stuff like that. Of course, it can work. You can have some like observations how people interact in short sessions with your game, but if you want the full session, have somebody like play it for an hour and record it and like check how it worked. Because the biggest small little annoying bits that I found that people didn't like was by watching streamers play the game, and like some interactions with UI were so like it made sense to me, but it didn't quite made sense for them. That's why they struggled to notice some things that are easily fixable if you like could have paid attention to that like before that. With EA, it's fairly important to keep your momentum going to like bring in the visibility, or else like people will start to look at your game like it's a dead game. And when they start to look at your game as a dead game, they basically like start to write it off. If they start to write it off, it's fairly hard to recover. But you can do it, but it's not the best thing to do. So there is also one thing that happens when you launch your game. Some fans show up and start requesting things that they think would be really cool. Like, for example, oh yeah, those enemies should have like 5 little different enemies, and that card should be like that card, and so on. Like, and you will have that feeling that you should include player requests, like should like follow the pack or something like that with your first game, because you wanna make people happy. Like, that's what we all do, like as indie developers. But if you follow too many requests, you can screw yourself over, because all of your time will be spent not on developing game, but just including player requests, and that's not optimal situation. So lead up to the real launch, that exit of early access, it took about half a year more of development. And as the game launched right before like COVID started, everything went sideways, and I took a little bit of time off of development. So like that's why it took longer to release the game, and that's why that's where also my comment about losing momentum comes from. Because if players see the developer is not developing the game, they will consider it as a dead game. So not cool. So before the launch happened at May 2021. It had 1 month of promo lead up, like marketing done by outside the company. We did prep up some media lists, some tweets, some social media content and trailers to drop over like a span of 1 month time. You kind of, if you're a solo developer and don't have like a marketing company or you are not a bigger game, you do want to space it out a little bit more to gather and keep the visibility to gather those wish lists. They will come in like very important at the moment when the game launches, and I will explain the reason why. So much visibility came from doing the console ports, because featuring on places like PlayStation YouTube channel did drag in a lot of attention and views before launch from people that didn't even know that the game existed. Like it was like a market that didn't know that anything exists. And then when they do gather that interest, like they also like boost visibility on other platforms, which is your goal that you want to have. Like you want to boost views on one platform, so that like it also boosts views on other platforms. Like you want this like some like cross promotion ball rolling. So platforms were less interested in featuring the game because it was early access game and it did lose its momentum. And like journalists and like articles and like random people are more interested in something that's hot. Like if your game is blowing up, like Loop Hero or something like that, everybody will be writing about it. If it's not blowing up, you need to be very careful, like how you approach like gathering interest. One thing that really helped to get those streams and some initial videos going is knowing some of the influencers or like being active part of their community, not for the purpose of promoting your game, but just so they know you a little bit better as a person. And when they do, they are more open to that initial like pitch to like play your game. And as most of them have like these group channels where they share the information and like games and stuff like that, they will pass your game around to more influencers. And if the ones that you are interacting with and know you are like bigger ones, they will probably be interacting with bigger streamers than the ones that have like 1 or 2 viewers. But the ones that have 1 or 2 viewers are also like in communities with bigger streamers, so you know what I mean. You wanna interact with all of them, but do it wisely. If you do it pretentiously, like as, oh yes, streamer, know me, yes, my game, that won't work as good. Like then you just send cold email, it will be better, like, and they will not be annoyed by that. Content embargoes are harder with the game that was in early access. The reason being, if you put a content embargo on the game, when it launches, it's already out. And some streamers or YouTubers are preparing the videos they will post, but they can mistakenly take your last day of early access as the full game's content and post the video of that content as the full game. And so it's that those videos can misrepresent your final game. Even if they have the access of the like secret beta branch with the new content, they can mix things up and take that in consideration. So how did the full release go? It went trending on the Steam front page, and the reason why it went trending was because of that gained momentum from views and wish lists. Like the current guesses are like that to go somewhat trending, to have the possibility of going trending and have that sales momentum, you should have at least like 6 to 8K wish lists as minimum to have enough people like interacting with your game, so it like pops up. And being on Steam's front page brings you like a lot of views and more sales like by exposure. The issue with the early access games launching is that you miss out on that window where your game is like popular and upcoming popular games. And in that category, you can gain like a lot of eyeballs and like a lot of wish lists if you use it correctly, like in conjunction with your like videos and other stuff. This simultaneous launch on PC and consoles. It's a big hassle and it takes a lot of time, more time than I imagined, because it was my like first PC and console launch, like in general. But it's cool and brings in more visibility, and it was worth it too. Decent content coverage helped. Like some like bigger like streamers picked it up with viewership of like I don't know 3,000-5,000 like concurrents and stuff like that, active users. And other similar games featuring you is a good thing. Like you wanna get on that game that game's Steam page that is similar to you. Like optimize your tags, like to bring in views and more people that are looking for similar games to play. Genre fatigue, it is a thing, and be wary of it, because like as I was launching card game, I was out of the hot time. Like early access was a prime card game launching time, but when I was launching the full game, the fatigue from like 100, 500 card games coming out of Steam like at the same time like set in, and it became boring to people. So like it was like the streams that were promoting games, like whatever, like Summer Game Fest or whatever, when another card game showed up, it was like full of comments of like, another one of these, like, get over, like, devs, stop making them. Do mention being a small team, like it helps you out, because it gets you out of some expectations that people have for like bigger teams. Like they don't expect as much content or as fast responses, because if you're a one person, you can't do as much, and like streamers like to mention that. But if you overplay it, it also gets annoying, so don't mention it in every single thing you do. Consoles were worth it. Sales-wise, it lined up with like PC. Switch was the best platform to go on, like for card game. PlayStation was decent, and Xbox was least decent. And it also was similar, like problem-wise. Like to get on a console, you will have to hop through many hoops, and Nintendo is the easiest one at the moment to get on to if you don't have like additional support or like intervention from publishers. So consoles, should you do it? Gaining access is much longer process than Steam. Like it can take months, or like to acquire dev kits, you need to spend money, and not all teams do get approved for like the newer dev kits. So that is an issue. Take that in consideration. Each console has its own specific like requirements. Like some require you to show that and this and that. So like do research it like as much as you can before you consider a console, because they will enforce those rules and will not let you get published unless you like tick all of the boxes. Like cert, which is certification like for consoles, like is a hassle. And it takes much longer than Steam. Like for Steam, for example, like you can click your game up, everything good, patches up, everything good. Consoles can take a lot of times. Like it can take weeks to get one like release approved, and if they throw it back, it can take weeks again to go through the same process, like to try again. So it can take like months to go to like release ready state. And it's not for everyone. If you can't access a console easily, it's probably not a thing you should go for like at launch. Like you should do it like as a post-launch thing after like game has been performing well on like PC. You could gather the audience, like, and you think, yes, now it's worth investing in porting. Patching, as I mentioned, certification is a big pain in the butt, like all the checking. Marketing, so like to sum it up, like in another slide, marketing, go as early as possible. Like even if you have a few screenshots and a little bit of videos, like put it up on Steam, start gathering those views or like social network views and stuff like that. Do it, it's never too soon. Like even if you don't feel worthy, nobody will notice your game. And when they do notice, then you're worthy. And be cute, pick your victims wisely. It is a reference to a thing that I call going for a core audience. Pick an audience that is kind of ultra fans for one specific genre. If you're a small team, like that's the most realistic audience you can shoot for. Like the huge audiences that like AAA games is not your thing. Like you won't get that many eyeballs from them. Like your game is less than a mini game in their game, in most cases. Consoles, like as I mentioned, do them, but it's not the end of the world if you don't do them. They will come with benefits, but pick one platform that you can access the most easily if you're a small team and like just focus on that and go for that. Don't be afraid to approach publishers. Like everybody wants to make money. Like we are all here to like because we want to be in the games business, and you can't be in games business if you don't make money. And one of the primary goal of publishers is making money. And they do that by promoting your game, like instructing you, like and covering for your like not fails, but insufficiencies. Like if you lack a skill, they can provide a person that can cover for the skill, and they are always open to look at games. And actually, like one of the best indicators to see if your game is interesting is if a publisher is like throwing like signing papers at you, like then you have some indication that at least somebody thinks that that game is like, yeah, this will sell probably. And yeah, always leave out like clear ways for people to reach you. Like if it's confusing to reach you like as an influencer probably won't bother too much because like infinite amount of games is coming out every single day. And if they have to bother themselves too much to reach you, they will probably like I'll just play these two other ones. So yeah, and when you launch a game, like a bunch of people will ping you for codes pretending to be influencers. Don't fall for that. They're mostly are non-influencers. There are scammers that pretend to be influencers, and only a couple of them are like legit people that will bring a lot of benefit to your like game, like visibility wise. So just focus on the ones that seem the biggest and the most legit one. So yeah, like do double check their email against their like YouTube channels and all that stuff. So social media is fairly important, like at least it was for me, but it wasn't to reach players. It was mostly to reach influencers and to show them that a game exists. If they notice you on Twitter, they will follow you, even if your account will be like, I don't know, like 100 users. If like one or two bigger influencers follow you and like keep up with your game, they will see it popping up on their feed constantly and just will be more informed about you existing. Like, and that was the most important aspect from social media that I personally got. If you are big enough to be an influencer, like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 or something like that followers, your interactions probably will be a little bit different, and you will be able to reach players like more directly, and like they can get your products like more directly from you. But your primary goal is reaching visibility, and the easiest ones you can reach is like influencers. Plus, many contests are happening on social networks too, like so gain things from that. So things to look out for. Don't sit in a vacuum, like interact with other devs. They will help you like point out like some bad things, and don't only ask for like good feedback, like it will fuck you over, like ask for bad feedback for things like they don't like or something. It will point out some things in your game that you did not think about. Like you think this is good enough, but the actual like reality is like here. Imagine here's 1, here's 10. You think it's here, it's here. So tools for projecting interest in your game. Lately there is this spike in content creators that focused like specifically on writing articles about like indie games. And then there are many useful newsletters that try to predict like the new trends and successes. And you can project your game's potential success by like guessing it from your like wishlist count or like your follower count and stuff like that. And there are some industry standard tools for somewhat accurately guessing the potential outcome of like your launch. Though don't rely on it because it can be totally different thing. Like just use it as a tool for projecting potential. Go for established genres. Like people who are in those genres will want more games of the same genres. Like everyone has that guilty pleasure that they go for, like, and they will go for it forever. Other devs interacting with your game is also a good thing. Like other devs retweeting you, like, gives access you to like their audience or like the influencers that are following them. And the thing to like keep in mind when prototyping or like doing experimental games is like, as it's written there, not everything sells, everything can fail, but anything also can sell. Like even the weirdest, quirkiest game that you didn't think would sell could sell. Like, and there have been like many hits like in history where nobody thought that this genre is like even viable. So yeah, one of the newsletters that it's worth to follow is like gamediscover.co. Like it's like from like guys with like long running in history that in the industry that like focus specifically on PC side of things. So like if you go for desktop, like do follow their newsletter, and they have like more than a year of content like up there like already. So yeah, thank you. If you had if you want elaborations on any part of the presentation, you can ask that right now, and I can like answer something as far as I can, or like catch me like outside.
Any questions? We have time for one question from the audience.
A good question because I'm stealing the only one, but I noticed you have a prologue on Steam, so you know, a demo version as a separate product, and I was wondering because I was considering to do a similar thing. How did that go from a marketing perspective? Did it pay off?
Mm-hmm. Okay, that was also one thing that I wanted to mention, like in one of the slides, but skipped over. For me personally, it was not worth it because like I had the demo, which was like Steam Early Access, like, and if you're interested in like Early Access, you can pirate it, like even if you don't want to buy it. But there are like there is like a huge wave of resurgence for like prologues and demos like going on right now, and for many developers, it's very worth it. Like you can gather like these like followers and like wishlists from it in like quite huge numbers, and it enables you to like participate in all these Steam fests and stuff like that. And actually, there is like I think Death and Taxes guys did like demo the right way. And they are hanging around here. You can ask them for like some experiences, like as a like the demo first and full launch after, like guys. But right now, it is worth to do a demo. I'm not sure if it's worth calling it a prologue. Like, I think people are starting to dislike it. Like, at least I personally wouldn't like click on anything called prologue if it's not an actual prologue. But yeah, like do consider doing that as a good playtest, and then to like gather some interest like from the audiences and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah.
Right. Thank you. And that will be it for the questions. So, Maris, don't run, stay. So, thank you so much. It was short, it was sweet, and it was informative. Thank you.